Welcome to Spotlight Gulf Coast, a weekly showcase of people and events across South Mississippi. Sponsored by the IP Casino Resort and Spa, Mississippi Power Company, Wykert Realtors Gulf Properties, and Butch Ostelet Autoplex.
Hi everyone, this is Todd Trenchard, Executive Director of the Baco Foundation of South Mississippi, welcoming you to another segment of Spotlight Gulf Coast right here on WXXV. Each week we're coming into your living room talking about what's going on all across South Mississippi, and we want to thank our sponsors for this generous opportunity. Today we're real pleased to have with us Derek Bodart, who is the President, CEO, and owner of Superior Optical.
Yes, sir.
And Derek, I think I first met you at a Home of Grace event,
Yes.
and that was, I think, our first encounter. And then I saw you the next week with Congressman Ezell, and so it was meant to be. And I had a little chance to talk to you, and I think one of your other partners, and you stood out right away. You really wanted to be a part of the community, but business was so overwhelming that y'all had been. So tell us a little bit about your past and, you know, how you got here to Mississippi.
Well, it depends how far back you want to go.
We want to go back
but
to birth.
I'll go back about 5.5 years from now anyway. So an opportunity came about when Superior Optical was for sale. To go back a little further yet, in 1991, Superior Optical started with Hal Walker and John Jacobs.
Okay.
And it's gone through many iterations since then. But they sold the company around 2014, 2015 to a large company. And primarily Superior Optical was in the government space. When they sold the company to the larger business, it no longer could justify having those contracts or able to fulfill those contracts. So they had to find somebody, a veteran, to buy it. And,
right.
So basically all the stars are lined up, and I went and looked at it, did our due diligence on it, and we ended up buying it.
Well, tell us what branch you were in.
I was in the United States Navy. Go Navy.
Go Navy. And when you walked in, I said, there's your Top Gun jacket.
There you go.
And,
absolutely.
Certainly. So did you always know that you wanted to be in the eyeglass field or with Superior?
No, I'd never in a million years thought I'd be in the eyeglass field, actually. But I guess it just found my ticket and punched it. But no, like I said, it was an opportunity. I love manufacturing. I like making things. My background is finance with an MBA. Mm-hmm. So I love getting involved and finding ways to make things better, quicker, faster, more efficient type mentality, and to do it the correct way. So I think a lot of in the Navy, I was a jet mechanic, so by trade. So I understand high precision machines, how they should work, and the importance of maintaining those machines so you could, get a good product out of it. Mm-hmm. And I took a lot of that with that and the quality programs that we had in the Navy, and in past jobs that I've had, I put those all bundled all together. That I found that in manufacturing of eyeglasses, they don't necessarily have those things. A lot of manufacturing facilities don't have those in place. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to instill those in there and just be a top tier manufacturer.
Right.
And with this last build out, we're probably one of the highest technologically advanced labs in the United States right now.
Now you're coming from a big market, Tampa, to down here on the coast, which is much, much smaller. And, I know you've already sort of connected some of the dots. You've been a good friend of mine, Jim Sutton, and I've known Jim a long time, of course, Mississippi Eye Associates. Mm-hmm. And, but when you're coming into a new market, it's a little bit, different from what you're doing. How has it been since you got here?
Well, I tell you, it's been awesome here. It's been opened arms by all the leaders in the community. Mm-hmm. They love seeing that we're growing, we're creating jobs for everybody. And I've had nothing but good things to say about it. I absolutely love it here in the Mississippi Gulf Coast, And to leave Tampa, it's not the easiest thing. But,
right.
But no, we absolutely love it. Now my family's here, and they're, my son's going to school, my daughter's going to college over at USA, and absolutely love it here.
So I'm a transplant myself, and I couldn't think of any place I'd rather live than right here.
Yeah, I was in Tampa about a month ago, and I was stuck in traffic. I was like, I'm so glad I'm not in this traffic anymore.
Right.
That's one good thing about here. You don't have as much traffic.
Well, tell us a little bit about, I guess, the eyeglass market and what y'all specialize sort of in. And I know you cater a lot to, like you were saying, veterans. And
Yeah. Well, what we do is we don't make the frames. We drill down the lenses is what we do. We cut lenses and make sure the prescription's correct in them, and then we edge them and then put them in frames or whatever the veteran wants. But our primary market right now is the VA hospitals. We do them North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Southern California. We do some of the Midwest and New Mexico and Arizona primarily is where we kind of have our markets at right now in the VA system. But basically the orders come in, we put them through the assembly line, and we get all the prescription put in there. We pop them back in the frames and we ship them out the back door is what we do. Now, since we were able to increase our capacity, now we put some money into a new building and some more machines, more state-of-the-art machines at that. We're trying to go out there and go into the what's called the ECP market, which is your eye doctors, like your Dr. Suttons and folks like that, because we want to, we don't want all our eggs in one basket with the VA system. VA's been good to us, but you want to have several different outlets of where you're doing. It's just business 101, in my opinion. So we're doing that, and then we have an eyeglass. We're actually a company called Rio Ray that's associated with us as well. Which is a sunglass company, and we're doing some things with them, and we got some special coatings we're looking at to put with the Rio Ray brand, to where it might, get us to a different level than where we're at right now, and kind of carve us apart from everybody else. What I mean more like what I'm talking about there is we have a coated lens now that we partnered with another company that would be able to not see the UV in your glasses, like with your duck hunting. Ducks pick out most of the time, pick out the UV, and they freak out and leave. So if you got this coating, the duck's going to fly by and not see you, and you have a better chance that you're shooting them or whatever you're doing.
Never have thought of that one.
Yeah. And then we also got another coating that we're working on with this company, where you know how when you got polarized lenses, if you go up to a gas station, you can't see the pump. Or a heads-up display, or your pilots can't see. Well, they got a polarized lens now that we could put this on, and you could see all those things where normally you couldn't see that. So that's a patented technology that we're going to be working on with them as well. So got all kinds of exciting things working on and going into the future.
I know we're going to talk a little bit about, I want to talk a little bit more about the actual assembly that you have over there, because again, I haven't had the chance. I can't wait to come see it. But also, you had stressed how important it was to get involved in the community, because you wanted to learn your community. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
And we're going to take a short commercial break. Again, we're talking with Derek Bodart, who's the owner of Superior Optical. They're not a new company. It's just a new company to our area. And we're very pleased that he's come on the show today. So don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're joined by Derek Bodart. And Derek, I guess the size of this operation, this is not something that's putting out a few
we do around 2,000 pair a day of glasses.
And that's, right now. I remember you said that when I was listening the first time I met you. I was like, what?
Sometimes it reminds me of being on a flight deck. It's controlled chaos sometimes in there. Because one of the things that's unique about manufacturing eyeglasses is every pair of eyeglasses is uniquely different, just a bit. So we're mass producing a unique product for each person, whether it be frames are different, or one right eye is just different than the left eye in some capacity, or whatever it may be. It's different. So you have to take all those into account when you're doing these things. And so whenever each one of them is different, you got to pay attention to different
But there's
things.
no retail outlet where you're at. This is, I mean, you're mass producing, we're sending them out. People don't come to...
Correct. Well, we do have an optical shop there for like the Chevrons, because we do get contracts with those folks.
Okay.
They come out and they can pick
You
up.
got the best location in the county.
I believe
that.
so, yeah.
I mean, you're right off the interstate,
Right off the
right
interstate,
there.
57, yeah. But you can come in there and they could get fitted there if they needed to. Or, you know, some of the eyeglass or eye doctors in town, if some of their customers come out, they can go to the optical shop or what have you.
How many people work I guess, over in that facility?
In Sunplex itself, we have about, I think, about 130, 135, and then we've got another 100 or so in the VAs across the United States.
Okay, and you had another partner that I met the night with
Tony
Congressman
Jones.
Zell,
Yes.
and you know he's very outgoing and.
Yep, Tony and I met in MBA school at USF, there, University of South Florida, and we've been friends ever since.
Y'all been teamed up, and he was saying the same thing as you. It's important to get involved in the community, and that,
Yes.
you know, you could tell that night. I've never seen a place like South Mississippi where our community is so connected. There's so many great opportunities. But I had seen you a few weeks earlier, I think, from that at the Home of Grace, that dressy but messy event.
Worked out pretty good too.
Something a little bit different, and had a brief chance to talk with you there. And then the night of the Zell function, and I saw that you knew Jim, and you know, seeing how you were getting out there. Did you have the same business model when you were in Tampa to get a part of the community and find out where some of the needs are? And
well, in Tampa, I was a banker by trade, then went to a different profession at that point in time. So I had a pretty vast amount of people that I knew. I know a lot of people in Tampa still.
right,
But it's just so huge. It doesn't seem like there's any real meat and potatoes to it as far as to get in there and make a difference. It's like you're just it's like a drop of water in the ocean. It seemed like when you came here, you get to know one person and then you meet another person. Everybody knows everybody,
right.
connected in some fashion. It seems like you can get things done a little quicker because of those reasons. I think it's just, I guess, just smaller in size and scope, I guess, is one thing, one way I kind of put it. But I believe that you should get involved with the community. If you've been blessed good enough to have a nice business, I think if you have the ability to get out there and make somebody else's life better, you're obligated to do that.
And we've done that very well down
You do
here
a good
in
job
South
doing that, by the
Mississippi
way.
and Jackson County. You know, when I was at M&M Bank and when, you know, we started this foundation, you know, it was nothing like it is today where everybody knows each other. And if we've done anything, we've connected the dots of everybody knowing each other. And that in turn makes a stronger community. I think it, you know, obviously very important.
You know, in the first, 3 years that I was here, I basically flew into town and then flew back out to Tampa for the weekends. So I didn't really get a chance to get out in the community and meet other people. So when I end up moving here permanently and then leaving my family in Tampa for a little while anyway, and them coming and visiting me, it actually enabled me to go out and meet more people, and I enjoyed it. It was awesome meeting everybody.
Right.
And I was searching out for organizations to get involved with and make a difference for people. And
Well, it's
things of that
interesting that you live a couple, houses down from Andy, and Andy, of course,
Mr. Andy Swagger.
yeah, and Andy came in town, same thing,
Yeah.
just sort of looking, and I sat in that same room. He was asking the same things. How do you get involved in the community?
Right.
And surely he's done a
good
tremendous
job at it. There's no doubt about that.
He did everything he said he was going to do when he came in and more. So, and those are the kind of people, you make this your home, you want to reinvest back into your home.
Absolutely.
Now, as far as, I was talking to you before, I have to wear glasses, today as I get older, and Jim is my doctor, and, something about when you're younger, you just think that eyeglasses aren't cool. Well, obviously, people now, there's all kinds of
You can make them cool.
and they're really starting to come out with that. They're becoming fashionable, and I think that's sort of neat.
Some people get just plain old glasses with lenses that don't have any prescription in them whatsoever, just because they look cool.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm good with that.
You start seeing that more and more.
Yeah.
And we do have a very strong VA down here on the Mississippi Gulf
Yes.
Coast, and a very well-run one. I assume that you do the work for them.
I do not, but I
You
do
do
go.
not?
I do go to that VA though, but I don't do
Okay.
work now. Another company has that one. That one should be coming out for bid here shortly. We'll bid on it and see what happens.
Now, you had talked about you also have the opportunity or training for somebody that may want to learn the business, or
Yeah,
is it like an
yeah.
apprenticeship program?
There's not a lot of eyeglass manufacturing in the area, so you don't go out and actually get people that has a background in this. So we started to hold training training as a part of our company now. So I have a corporate trainer, and she comes up with a syllabus of what we need. You know, she gets feedback from all the division heads of, you know, here's what I'm seeing, here's I think what we need to train on, and she puts those programs together, and then we, you know, a couple hours a day or a week or whatever it is, they come up to the training room, and she facilitates that. Now, herself, she's getting a PhD in education, and she knows training like for executive leadership and all of those types of things, which we do, conflict resolution and things of that nature. So it takes our leaders to the next spot as well, which is awesome. But when it comes down to actually what you do for your job, we get that subject matter expert from the lab itself to come up and kind of write that syllabus of what that looks like. So we'll facilitate it up in the training room, and the subject matter expert will come up and actually do the training. So it kind of marries each other. That coordination works pretty good. And that's one of the reasons in the way we're able to grow the way we have, because we don't have the resources out there, the people that already know the business. Like if you're in Texas or maybe a Tampa area, because there's a lot of manufacturing done around the Dallas area, but that's where all the people are at. So
fascinating. I mean, I wouldn't know where to start if I was going to want to go into the.
You don't have people that know what they're doing. You have to teach them.
That's right.
That's what we do.
Okay. Well, we're going to take another short commercial break. We're going to get joined by Amanda on the next segment. We'll talk a little bit more. Tell us again, where are y'all located?
Down Simplex, 6525 Simplex. They're in Ocean Springs.
Highway 57, right off the interstate.
Yeah, get off 10, go about 2 miles, and it's off to the right.
Okay, we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Now we're joined by Amanda Ray, and Amanda, we were talking off camera. You know, you're having some 2 young boys, and they can be a little rambunctious. We're talking about glasses and stuff, but that does bring up a great subject, because we always think, who needs glasses? Well, older people.
Yes, I mean, I'm a mother of 5-year-old twins, and they're both in glasses right now. We were talking. Yep. I was wondering if y'all did make lenses for children as well.
They're no different than any other. Basically, there's no different than any other kind of glasses. We just, you bring your frames in, which with children, they're usually kind of rubber frames and everything, a little more forgiving. Put them in the machine, we trace them, and we can run them through the whole manufacturing process and cut them and pop them right in there.
Very nice.
So I'm not sure that I really understand what a lens is, but it's a big piece of glass that's cut.
Looks like a hockey puck when I get it. And then it goes through machining, and like I said, our biggest generators was just Schneider. It's the Schneider generators. What they'll do is they will get a design from a company, whichever it might be. Let's say it's Essler design. It'll go through France, and we'll get that. We'll call our machine. I'll call machine in France, get the coordinates, and then they'll go in there and they'll cut it. They have diamond cutters on this. What it is. It goes about 30,000 RPM, and it cuts your prescription into your glass themselves, which is plastic. Most of them are plastic. Most of your glasses are not glass anymore. Okay, and so you do this with each individual. Yep. I mean, I'm just thinking of about 4,000
hockey pucks.
4,000 hockey pucks a day. Yes.
Wow.
We need to go tour the facility.
Yes.
I actually had the pleasure of coming by there. And I mean, what a beautiful state-of-the-art facility. You'd be very impressed.
Right.
We need to plan a day to go up there, because I was amazed.
It's got the latest and greatest. It's clean. We're keeping it clean, because when you got this kind of environment, you got to keep everything clean, less pitting, less dust on your lenses, the better.
Do y'all produce sunglasses too? Okay, that's what I thought. I thought I remembered seeing sunglasses there whenever I came.
We could do we have Rio Ray, which is one of our own house brands, basically. We can do any sunglasses out there. We can make, the lenses for them. We can get anything you want, pretty much.
And any company's only as good as their workers. And I know that, you certainly must pride yourself on your workers. You got this leadership training, you got all this training inside, so you've learned a lesson.
We invest in them, and they seem to enjoy it. I tell them, when your biggest customer is the VA hospital themselves, let's make a difference in one veteran's life each day. That's what we can control.
Right.
So, what better place to work is to get up and go and do something like that.
I would love to hear more about your career in the military. Me, as a military spouse, my husband, he'll actually be retiring from the Coast Guard. He has 1 year left, and he'll have his 20 years. So I would love to hear a little bit of history of that.
Okay. Well, I went in right after high school, and so it was 1990. I know I'm dating myself, but I went in, and I was actually a jet mechanic in the Navy. I worked on A6s at the time, and that went on. I was stationed up at Whidbey Island, Washington, and absolutely loved it up there. I don't know if you've ever been to the Pacific Northwest, but it's beautiful up there. So I spent a lot of time from 90 to 97 up there, and then in 94 went on a war cruise over the Persian Gulf. And so I got to go to Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, Tasmania, UAE, Abu Dhabi, all those places. And it was just, loved it, absolutely loved it. And the cool part is people ask me, how did you meet your wife? So we were riding actually back and forth when I was on the aircraft carrier. And then she sent me a bunch of cookies and was like, oh man, this is good. You got me now. So once I got back from the cruise, I took her out on a date in Kentucky, and we were married a year later.
Oh.
So about 27 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, and then she moved up to Washington with me, and that was very awesome. And I went to EA6Bs, which is a 4-seater version, where it's electronic countermeasures, where A6s were bombers. Is what we did there, but they were getting away with bombers, and the F-18 platform was taking over that role. And then actually F-18 platform took over the EA-6B role eventually as well, and they retired that airplane. So the EA-6B actually was able to fly in the back of that one. So we did a lot of low levels through the Cascade Mountains, as you seen on Top Gun too.
Right.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I
It was
bet.
really good.
I'm still trying to picture you going into the banking business now. All right?
That comes later. But one thing I want to say real quick is one of the planes I actually worked on in the Persian Gulf is over here at Pensacola.
Wow.
The
Okay.
A6 is there, so it's good. But moving on, I did get out, and I went to school back at University of Illinois, where I'm from, Illinois, and got my finance degree. And then once we were trying to figure out where we wanted to land after that, I asked my wife, where do you want us, where should we go after we graduate? It's like, well, I've been following you all over the place for your Navy career, so let's go to Tampa, where my parents are at. I was like, okay, I can think of worse places. So
Yeah.
we moved to Tampa in 2003. That's what we did. And I got into the banking industry. I went through, private and then commercial, and
Right.
Wachovia was the bank I worked at. You know
Okay.
what happened in 2008 with Wachovia.
Right.
It's like a lot of banks started to fail and everything. So it was trying sometimes, but we got to Tampa, bought a house, we had a child 9 months later. It was quick. we hit the ground running when we got to Tampa, that's for sure.
But everybody's a product of their experiences in life, and all that sets the stage for, where you're at today. And I think that's just sort of neat to sometimes look at that progression. How do we end up here? Well, it's just, where the cards were laid.
I never in a million years thought I'd end up living in Mississippi, but here I am and actually enjoying it.
Right.
And it said you
Tremendously.
never thought that you'd be in the eyeglass
No,
business.
yeah,
And
never.
here you are running one of the top, facilities in the country, and in that place, maybe in the world. I mean, you can be as good as.
It sounds nice, but I don't know, but we'll see. It's a nice facility. Let's put it that way.
Well, it's and again, I want to compliment you because you have been very generous with the community,
Yes.
and that is important. I know for a fact down here, we ran our bank in that mantra of, invest in the people that invest in you, and if you're blessed, we're called to give.
I'll say it again.
So-
Like I said before earlier, if you've been blessed enough to have a good business and
Right.
a means to do something, by God, you should do it. There's a lot of people out there hurting, needing things, hard times, and everybody got circumstances, and you need to get in there. And if you got the way of making those circumstances better, let's do it.
Yeah, and that's what we do. I mean,
Yep.
it's sort of refreshing to see that sort of mindset, and we're blessed to have a lot of people down here. Well, we've come to the conclusion of this. Again, I know that we hope that we'll be able to get you back on here again, get some footage, and
Anytime.
definitely get
Yes.
a tour.
And thank you for what all you do.
Thank you guys for having me out
I
here.
think it would be neat to have a lot of our business leaders come do a tour of.
Anytime.
That would
Yeah,
be.
we love showing off the bright new Ferraris, what I call it. So come on, take a ride.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on. And we appreciate everybody's support of the Baker Foundation of South Mississippi. Until next time, this is Todd Trenchard and Amanda Ray saying so long.